Some of your hands are still raised. All right, so we move on with the next topic. So this week's topic is the last three. Yeah, so we have business and technology. And the next one we have society, ethics, and technology, as well as the last one is technology planning and technology transfer. Yeah, so as you will definitely realize, we are moving towards the end of the semester already. All right, I can see 47 of you are already in quizzes. I shall proceed to start today's lecture. All right, so as shown here, one thing that you will mainly notice in terms of business and technology, overall, what we are trying to do is to ensure that there is a differentiation across when you're using technology for the purposes of business. Yeah. The main areas are being shown here. The topic and structure are now being shown on your screen, right? The definition, the use of technology, looking at the relationship between business and technology, as well as primary business processes, looking at how the influence takes place and what are the implications at the end of the day. The good thing is that this is also in relation towards what you're covering this week, right? Your weekly task this week is talking about effects of technology. So obviously you can also look at it from the perspective of a business as well. So these are your learning outcomes. There are two mainly highlighted here: relating technology to its surroundings, the different effects of technology, as well as its external environments as well. Yeah. So there are many different perspectives that you can actually take when you're looking at business and technology together. And of course, considering the usage in society overall. And what we are trying to do is also to identify a direction to see where where technology is bringing business towards. So, of course, since I've mentioned that there are many different areas that we can look into, but we will basically be looking into specific areas. So you see supply chain management here. In other words, this is called SCM. C-commerce. I'm quite sure most of you are familiar with e-commerce or even m-commerce, mobile commerce, but there's also an aspect called C-commerce. So we'll be looking into that as well. Aspects of procurement, technology has changed how outsourcing has happened and why outsourcing is becoming very popular today. There's also CRM, yeah. Due to technology, this can be handled much more better as we can see today, right? I'll also be asking you some questions here to see maybe if there are areas that there are organizations that you can highlight who has very good customer relationship management with their customers particularly. Looking at e-workforce, this is very relevant today, especially with the pandemic, especially with everyone working remotely. So you can also look at in the sense of how virtual workforce today and working from home, working remotely is something that is becoming very popular. More and more organizations are adopting it, but interestingly, they are adopting it a bit differently from one another. E-business as a whole, yeah, the bigger idea of where e-commerce all sits under. And of course, talking about e-tailing, whereby you will see there is the growth and expansion in terms of all these different platforms. I'm very sure all of us here are familiar with the ones that are, for example, more popular here in Malaysia, which is Lazada and Shopee. But it is also something that is affecting everyone in the world today. Yeah, so we'll start off with a quick business definition: an organization or firm involved in the trade of goods or services, or even both, to the customers. So why is there a focus to say or even both? Because initially, when businesses first started, they are either providing only one, right? Either the goods or the service. It's either one that most businesses will normally look into. But as of now, you will notice that has actually changed and is a bit more different. Yeah. A lot of companies which were providing goods to begin with, they have started providing service as well, because they know the after-sales service, the services that comes along with their goods is just as important, right? Same thing goes with those who are providing services prior to this. It's only meant as a service, but now they do provide goods as well. Yeah, I think you can easily think of examples across these different types of businesses today. So let's look at goods for a quick one. Companies that were only manufacturing cars before this, yeah, their focus was in that, and that's the only thing that they do. They manufacture cars, they sell cars, end of story. But today, you notice they realize the life cycle with their customers cannot end there. Because once someone buys your car, you realize that that person is going to use your car for the next X number of years, which is normally between 5 up to 10 years or even more, right? So they realize that once you buy a car, there's a lot of different services that they can provide to you. So that's why you notice businesses who are only focused at selling cars before this, they go into the service aspects of it as well, right? They provide you maintenance services and other aspects in relation to the car, right? They even do a lot of trade-ins for you to then purchase your next car and things like that. So there's a lot of services involved. Service, for example, on the other hand, I will always like to talk about internet service, right? So rather than just providing internet services to the customers today, you notice now they also sell a lot of hardware. So they do sell physical goods, physical hardware as well. Yeah. Google, when they first started, is very much into search engines alone. But if you notice today, Google has their own hardware as well, right? As you can see, Google is even selling their own phones, the Pixel lineup, for example. So businesses today are focusing now, they tend to expand across both. It's not just talking about one anymore. It's not just providing either goods or services. A lot of them has tried expanding and to move into both. Yeah. So you will notice that along a lot of lines with a lot of businesses which are trying to expand their business, or even at least trying to expand in terms of the market that they are targeting to. So evidently, technology has changed the way people do business. As highlighted here, there are new products that has come up. There's new ways of marketing. There's even new jobs as well. And this is something that we have seen evidently. If you just go and Google, as simple as this, right? What jobs did not exist? Yeah, then you start seeing all the suggestions there. What jobs did not exist just about 10 years ago, right? And when you do a quick search about that, you will start seeing there's a lot of technological related positions, yeah, which are all being supported mainly to then see that, oh, this is something that technology has basically changed in terms of how businesses work today as well. Yeah. Suddenly, this is not responding to me. Okay. Probably it's with the internet on my end. All right. So the use of technology in business, as it was highlighted earlier, as you saw, right? So in production, this is one of the main areas where technology first got into when it comes to businesses, yeah, to increase productivity. That is the main reason why a lot of businesses were considering technology to begin with, right? Using computers and a lot of different automated and automation system in order to increase productivity, right? And at the same time, maintaining quality, of course. New ways of marketing. So this is something that as users, as all of us are users here, we have all experienced these different aspects of marketing, from email to online to mobile marketing, especially marketing over social media is something that we are all very much aware of as of today. Communication. So this expands not only within the organization for better communication between the company and its employees, but you notice that has gone across to organization and their customers and clients as well, not forgetting across with their partners as we go along. Yeah. So business over the internet, as you can see, there's already 3 different terms highlighted here. First one is e-business. Yeah. The term which was used back then, as you can see, is conducting your business over the internet. But the definition of e-business has changed over time. We'll look at e-business again after this. Yeah. E-commerce, of course, dealing with buying and selling of product. And to be honest, e-commerce is the one that is being highlighted to utilize it over the internet instead. Yeah. E-banking, of course, performing virtual banking operation, bill payment service, fund transfer, and so on and so forth, right? And it's becoming more and more popular as of today. Even when it was first introduced, it was not very popular with the older crowd, but this has evidently changed a lot as of today as well. Yeah. Other aspects, again, the ones that we are familiar with, from e-ticketing to e-shopping. So a lot of businesses which were very traditional and they were very brick and mortar in terms of their setup, right, is in order for everything to be very physical. You have noticed that there's a lot of shift now for them to even go online. And when they are doing, when they are doing that, competition has also increased, right? A lot more businesses which do not even require a physical presence can actually be virtual most of the time. or rather fully virtual most of the time. Yeah. All right. I think it's my internet that is causing some issues with quizzes. So let me just switch off my camera. I just wanted to test something out. Yeah. So this was something that I've just highlighted earlier. Yeah. So I hope all of you are able to respond. I don't see any responses yet. Can someone just quickly respond to me to show that you are able to see the question on quizzes?
Yes, we can, sir.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Therefore, it looks like waiting for your response seemed to be the issue. All right, I'll just end the question here. I have a feeling this is an issue on my end, but it doesn't show. Yep, thank you for highlighting that. Yeah, I think it's the issue on my end for it not to be able to be seen. I'll just go to the next slide and come back to this slide. So Muhammad Bakar has decided to answer in the Teams chat instead. So let me try this. Ah, interestingly, I'm not seeing it. Okay, all right. I might as well move straight towards giving you the answer anyway. So when it comes to e-business, yeah, it's basically trying to digitalize your business. Yeah, it's basically digitalizing the business, which includes a lot of different areas. So you have to understand that main aspect of it. Yeah. So I see Muhammad Bakar has mentioned to say e-business is the internal and external interaction between different organizations, while e-commerce is selling products to the customers. So now I'll just in terms of the exact definition of it, it is a bit different from what Bakar has mentioned. Yeah. Saad has shared something. I'm assuming that he copy pasted from somewhere. E-commerce is carried out by the internet or other network communication technology. I can't see the first part. Traditional commerce is carried out face-to-face. Oh, okay, all right. He's just highlighting what is the difference between traditional and e-commerce. So here's the definition. Yeah, e-business is when you digitalize your business. You run your business electronically. Yeah, so e-business can be even as simple as you are running your business now using Excel. You are running your business now using a scanner or a point of sale system whereby you can take orders and so on and so forth. So it can be as simple as that, not necessarily involving the internet. Yeah, e-commerce on the other hand is transactions that takes place over the internet. So e-commerce is the one that is focused more on highlighting the internet as part of its definition. Yeah, so I hope everyone is clear and aware of that. So this next slide talks about the use of technology in business overall, right? First keyword, globalization. Technology makes it easy. Your customers now is not only limited to wherever you are because you're within the country and so on and so forth. Everyone can look at Shopee, you can look at Lazada. Two more examples here talks about eBay and Amazon. Your customers do not only need to be confined towards the location of where you are or within your country, right? You notice that now suddenly, all of a sudden, your customers, the range and your targeted customers can go worldwide as well. Human resource management, another very popular usage of technology in business, right? Which covers things like the payroll, appraisal system, scheduling your employees and manpower. So all those aspects, technology come into the picture as well. Yeah. Securing business data and information. So obviously there's a lot of storage that is required by organizations as either for history purposes or for auditing purposes. A lot of this information must be stored somewhere. And yes, some of these details can also be private and confidential. Therefore, securing it and making sure that your data is safe is very important as well. Not forgetting, R&D has definitely been affected by technology a lot as well. In two aspects as highlighted here, to identify a customer's need, to find out what customers really want, and as well as developing the business according to the customer's need. So the aspect of R&D is definitely highlighted here simply because technology allows it to be done much more quicker, right? Allows it to be done in a much more at a certain level that is much more in depth as well. Yeah. So overall, I think is definitely something. This is a statement we can all agree to, whereby the importance of technology is definitely there for a modern business survival as we see businesses today. Yeah. I think it is definitely safe to say there's no businesses that will not be affected by technology. I'm even talking about right down to businesses you see by the roadside. Yes, they may not use technology a lot, but I think we all understand that if they do utilize technology, right, it is something that will move towards ensuring that the business survival can be there. Yeah, so I think that's a point that all of us here can definitely agree of with each other. So by saying all that, the conclusion here is definitely that business and technology are inseparable because they do complement each other, right? They increase productivity. We saw that there. Effective use of the resources. You saw how in terms of employees, technology can help to monitor certain things. Of course, brings opportunity for upgrading businesses overall as well in terms of R&D that you saw earlier. Yeah. So a lot of these technological changes allow improved production of goods and services, either in a shorter time or in a much more customized manner, personalized manner towards the users and the customers as well. Yeah. So some very, very key advantages overall, I would have to say. Yeah, as you will see here, reducing running costs, improving productivity. You are now seeing that being repeated many times, right? Improving competitiveness as well, for you to basically know what the competitors are doing and to do as well as them, if not better. Lowering cost per unit of product. Yeah, so I think this is something that allows cost to be lowered because then there is a lot of different aspect of the cost that is now has been taken up by technology. You can imagine prior to this, running a marketing campaign will easily cost you much more than just basically now you're on Facebook or on Instagram and you see a lot of these sponsored posts, right? So a lot of this will basically, the cost can be lowered significantly due to technology. Evidently, there is improved quality of service, the speed of service that can be provided, and as well as reduced wastage overall. Yeah, a lot in businesses prior to this, without technology, they're not able to really monitor things that they do. They're not able to really monitor in terms of the products that is being damaged due to errors and things like that. So now you will see that wastage can be significantly reduced. All right. Additionally, I think these are the ones that we have that is on top of what has been highlighted earlier. You see some being highlighted here as well. But I think overall, every time you hear the advantages of technology in business, it always goes down to the three things. What are they? Is that they save time, they save costs, they save manpower, right? I think it's very common for all of us to hear that. And here's the interesting part. If you always look for advantages of technology towards something, these are the first three answers you can go to, right? You save time, you save costs, you save money, and you save manpower, save human resources as well. So here I am telling all of you in class, since most of you are doing effects of technology this week, I need you to take into consideration to not stop at these only. Yeah, don't talk about advantages, business advantages alone. You should also talk about technical advantages as well. Yeah. So off the top here, you notice this is what I will consider more than a business advantage, is more as a technical advantage, right? Security overall. So it does allow security to be looked into a much more. You can actually control different levels of access and so on and so forth. There are many aspects in relation to security that technology have played as a role in business, right? Better customer support. So if you notice, it's not talking about internally anymore. There are also aspects which are external being looked at here. On top of that, you will notice as well in terms of overall business communication. And this is something that covers both internally as well as externally. Yeah, all right. My apologies, hold on, yeah. All right, apologies for that. So as I was just highlighting about the business communication, right? So this can be across both internally and as well as externally. And we know, of course, internally will be between the business and its employees, but externally can go across in terms of the businesses and other businesses, as mentioned by Bakar earlier, right? Between different organizations and also between businesses and their customers, more importantly. Yeah. Marketing and business growth, don't forget to highlight that in terms of a very significant role of technology in business as well. And not to forget resource management, and you see the similar term here, which is globalization. So I like this infographic a lot because it covers a wide area. You don't just see it talking about saving money, saving time, saving manpower. All right. So a quick question, which of the following statement is true? Which of the following statement is true? So I think what I'm going to do is I have to refresh this by the looks of it, because I'm still not seeing anyone answering, which is I would have to say not possible. Hopefully by refreshing, it will be able to obtain all of your responses. So I see Vivin has highlighted in the chat. Sorry for disturbing you. Rifat is in a hospital for COVID treatment. All right. No worries. So I'm assuming that you're telling me that just to inform me that Rifat cannot attend class today, yeah? All right, so which of the following statement is true? Okay, for the three of you all say both are true. Interestingly, three of you said both are false. Let me just quickly find someone to provide your response. So Elvis, what did you answer and why, yeah?
Hi, sir.
Hold on, yeah, I can't hear you. I have to increase the volume on my end. Yes.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
I answer both are true.
Both are true. Why, yeah?
Because I think without technology, business can't sustain, and then without any business knowledge, also the IT people cannot sustain during the business in the business. Yeah.
Okay, right. Thank you, Elvis, for sharing. Let me just find someone else. Alicia? Same question to you. Is Alicia missing in action? I assume that is a yes. Ching Yu, same question to you.
Hi, sir.
Hi, yep.
The difference between IT and technology is IT is about information technology, which is like about computers, and I think technology is about the appliances that we use every day.
All right, that is not my question, Ching Yu. I was asking you which one of the following statement is true, which one did you choose, and why did you choose to say so?
Oh, I choose both are true.
So reason is?
The reason is because I think it works both ways.
Okay, all right, short and simple. Sweet and simple. Thank you, Ching Yu. All right, so I think everyone understands here, right? And since most of you said both are true, I do agree with you as well. Now, a lot of organizations, sometimes when they adopt new technology, right, they feel that the technology must follow how the business work. Yeah, they feel that the technology should fully follow how the business work. And some organizations, right, when they adopt a technology, they feel that all aspects of their business must change to follow the technology. So that's why it's important to have a balance across both of this. And that's why the answer here is definitely both are true. Yeah. As a business, if you're adopting new technology, yes, the technology should follow how your business work. Agreed. Yeah, but not fully. You must also look at if there's any internal processes of your business that should also follow how the technology works, because if it is something that helps to improve how your business works, then you should follow how the technology works. All right, so that's the main idea behind these statements that I ask everyone to answer. Yeah. All right, so when you look across a business and we are highlighting, for example, the supply chain management is basically what you see in the middle here, from the beginning of suppliers and vendors, all the way to, in terms of when you start off with design, you start sourcing for materials, you start manufacturing them and making them, and then you look into distribution because you have to move your items around, and then you sell or you serve it because it can be a product or even a service. towards both your consumers or even your customers, which can be shops that are selling your products as well. Yeah. So throughout the whole supply chain, in terms of how a product starts at the supplier and vendors, and all the way until it reaches into the hand of the consumers and customers, you will notice that there's a lot of different technology enablers. Yeah. So from the arrows and the triangles that you see here, you will then notice that they are being used at different levels. From a design level here, you will notice that, of course, in terms of business functions, product or process design, aspects of project management can help to monitor certain things. And when it comes to enabling technologies, are just collaborative platforms, like how companies are also using Google in terms of the Google Suite, right? To then see how for Google for Business is also helping them to solve certain issues that they have at the design stage. From sourcing all the way to selling or serving, you see in terms of supply chain management, there can be for forecasting to know how much to produce, planning ahead, sourcing, manufacturing, distributing, and a lot of the technologies here that is being highlighted is for those purposes as well. Supply chain management system to monitor in terms of your product from its raw material all the way until it reaches a customer for you to see that flow. Yeah. Barcodes, you see a lot of that being used even on the side of customers and consumers here, you do see it. But on top of that, when we understand in terms of for transporting goods purposes, barcoding and RFID are highly being used as well. Yeah. All right. Interesting point about RFID. Any one of you here know that where in the university do we use RFID? Type it into the chat. Where in the university do we utilize RFID? So Lip Hao is saying Serdang is out of electricity. Alicia is using data and she's lagging. All right, thank you for notifying me that. Thank you, Lip Hao. I'm also back home. I'm also in the Serdang area, and I do agree that internet is definitely an issue. I had to switch off my camera just so that this is much more smoother, and I hope it is smoother. So Fatih is saying that the library uses RFID. Yep, I think we discussed about that briefly before. Anywhere else RFID is used? Which I thought the first answer will come in would be the more obvious one. Thank you, Muhammad Bakar. Yes, your student ID. Yeah, your student ID utilizes RFID as well. So for those of you who may have not been to the university for the past year or so, you would have noticed now that when you are coming in through the entrances, you can actually scan your card. Yeah, you can actually scan your card to then identify, for it to identify who you are as well, right? Same thing goes when you're making payment, you're using your same card as well, and all those are utilizing RFID. So Samuel is saying entrance, you're correct. Wei Huan is saying, I thought that's NFC. So no, we do not utilize NFC for your student ID purposes. Yeah, for your AP card, for your app card, for example, those are all utilizing RFID. Thank you, Sardar. Yeah, parking is included as well because again, your student ID is involved. Thank you to those of you who have responded. Going down, if you notice for procurement of your goods and services, another word for procurement, which I think most of us are a bit more familiar with, is outsourcing. Yeah. So for outsourcing purposes, for sourcing, for purchasing, for compliance purposes, technology can definitely help out as well. Yeah. Enabling technologies, of course, there are things like marketplaces. As of today, if you're looking for a service and you're wondering what is the best service nearby around to you, it's much more easier for you to source for those. CRM. So this is something we'll go into a bit more as well, right? But of course, technology has helped in terms of marketing, in terms of sales, in terms of service, both after sales service or even pre-sale service as well. Yeah. So there are enabling technologies such as SFA, Salesforce Automation, which is a very popular tool available today. E-marketing portals, call center apps. So a lot of this has been enabled by technology in order to support businesses accordingly. All right. So I see Saad coming in to say for measuring students and staff body temperature by scanning. So that is not using RFID. Yeah, measuring your body temperature is interestingly using infrared. So how does that work? It's similar to basically when you see places that uses the handheld device to then scan your temperature, right? It's basically the same, and all those are using infrared instead. So those are not RFID. Yeah. what you see on your screen now, the two most sourced out for in terms of a solution for companies and businesses is both of these aspects that you see left and right here. One is ERP, one is CRM. CRM is the one that you've heard me talking about earlier, the customer relationship management, right? Is to look into customer service, monitoring sales, providing support, like things like technical support. Aspects of marketing can be used through this particular system as well. It's much more easier if you monitor all of your customers together and to reach out to them as well. On the left, what we call ERP is, I will always have to consider this a one-stop solution. Yeah, one-stop center to all of the business needs that you require. So as you can see, in terms of functionality, it's very wide. It covers a lot of things, from distribution to sales and marketing, to reporting, to financial management, production, fulfillment, human resources. So you notice it's a one-stop center of a system that enables everything enables everything to be monitored accordingly. Yeah, all right. So Sardar is saying, please pray for me. I'm having fever for the last 2 days. And Saan says, get well soon. Okay, all right. Wishing you the best and wishing you a speedy recovery. Yeah. So hopefully it is not something serious. Yeah. And to be honest, everyone needs to be vigilant. You need to be careful. In Malaysia now, we are still easily hitting about 3,000 cases a day. And I would not call that number being low, of course, in comparison to what it was before, but it is still something that we must all be very, very careful with. Yeah. All right. So you saw the term C-commerce earlier. So C-commerce refers to collaborative commerce. Yeah, collaborative commerce. The simple idea here is that companies are working together. Yeah, companies are working together. As you can see here is that it is considered to be the replacement of e-commerce, the next stage in the development of e-business solutions. So what C-commerce does is that it's a solution that forms a joint platform to design, create, manage, and administrate real-time data. So collaborative commerce is trying to encourage that a lot of aspects is being combined together. Businesses are collaborating together in order to cover the full end-to-end solution to be provided to customers instead. Yeah. So an example given here, companies such as Airbnb and Uber created a business through unused inventory, like Airbnb, that allows individuals to earn revenue from their unused inventory. Right. So collaborative commerce here is between between the company and as well as utilizing the people overall. Yeah. When you look at Airbnb, of course, Airbnb doesn't own a single house, doesn't own a single building. All they do is that they are collaborating with people out there who wants to rent out any one of their rooms, who wants to rent out any one of their houses. Yeah. Uber is the same thing. They don't own any single cars. They don't own any single services per se. All they are doing is collaborating with people who then has cars to then turn their cars into taxis, for example. Yeah. So the collaborative part here, if you notice, it goes across a lot in terms of not just the company working together with its users and consumers, but it can also be related towards companies that work together with other companies as well. Yeah. So the collaborative part here is not just, again, as I was telling you, yeah, the collaborative part of this commerce here is not just between the company trying to work with people overall, yeah, but it can also be looked at in terms of how I think for the company to work with people, I think that's quite obvious, right? Look at Grab Food, look at Grab overall, look at Foodpanda, and you will definitely realize that, okay, that is very collaborative commerce. It's the company trying to work with the people overall and to run a business in that way. Yeah. But on the other hand, C-commerce is also collaboration between industries, between companies as well. Yeah. So can you think of examples for the following industries to adopt C-commerce, right? Can hotels adopt and try to work with other companies in order to provide their services and their goods? What about smartphone? What about automobiles? What about restaurants? And today you will notice that there are more and more organizations who are doing so. Yeah. Now, anyone here can tell me who can the hotel, not with the people, yeah? All right. The hotel working with people, that is an example like Airbnb earlier, right? An organization is formed, they work with people who wants to rent out their houses or their rooms, and that becomes like a hotel service. But what about current hotels? If current hotels want to work with other companies, who can they work with? Who can they collaborate with to provide a better end-to-end solution to their customers? Yeah. Who can they work with? So Man Heng, are you there?
I'm here.
Yes. Who can you think of other businesses that the hotel can work with in order to provide better services and better solutions to their to the hotel's guests, for example?
You mean one type of business or exact business or?
Any. It can be any type of business. But who can hotels work with? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
About tourism.
All right, good point. So what do you mean by that? Okay, all right. I do not know if I'm supposed to continue waiting. So thank you very much, Man Heng. So what he pointed out, I think, is relevant, right? If you notice today, collaborative commerce is between hotels and a lot of other organizations. Yeah, hotels with tourism agencies, like what Man Heng has just mentioned earlier. Hotels with airlines. Yeah, there's a lot of collaborative commerce across that is working together in order to provide better services. Smartphones, can you all think of any? What has smartphones do in order to do better in terms of collaborative commerce? Put aside smartphone manufacturers working with Google or Android, yeah? So I think that is quite obvious. But what about others? If you notice today, who else can smartphones collaborate with in order to provide better services? Same thing goes with automobiles. Who can they work with? What about restaurants? Yeah, can restaurants actually work and to collaborate further in terms of with other businesses to provide better solutions? Yeah. So Yuan Ming is saying, can I say restaurant? It is so popular now. Restaurant is so popular now. So you mean what? Hotels working with restaurant, is it?
Hotel with restaurant.
Hotel with restaurants. Okay, all right. Is there? I'm wondering, hotel with is the restaurant in the hotel, or you're talking about restaurant in other locations as well?
In the hotel and in other hotel,
Okay.
outside the hotel also can.
Yep, very true. Thank you so much, Yuan Ming, for highlighting that. So it's quite, yeah, that's quite evident, right? Where you can go to the hotel, you have a night stay or a 2-night stay there, and then they are working with a lot of other businesses to provide you either discounts or vouchers and blah blah blah. Yeah. So Samuel is saying hotel can offer online booking services, transportation to and from hotel, other places such as hot tourist spots. Yeah, so Samuel has expanded it a bit more than just what Man Heng has mentioned earlier about hotels and tour and travel agencies alone, right? They can even work together with delivery, not delivery. They can work together with transportation services to then offer additional services of transportation back and forth. Aaron mentioned, yes, you can unlock some cars with phones now. Okay, all right, yeah. So that is, you see how automobiles are even working together with smartphones, right? Because they see there's a need, there's an Android-based in-car entertainment provided in cars. So you do see a lot of collaborative commerce happening nowadays, and is to the advantage of everyone, of course, mainly focusing on the customer. Yeah. So the supply chain management aspect of it, it is as part of business trends now, because then you are looking at many different areas and aspects of the business for it to be improved. Yeah. So supply chain overall is covering that picture earlier. I think it covers very well what supply chain management is about. Yeah, because it covers from the beginning of your raw materials all the way right down to when your product actually arrives at your customers or at your consumers. Yeah. The term supply chain refers to the entire network of companies working together from the beginning to design all the way to even providing the products overall. Yeah. So there's different ways of looking at it. There are two terms here that you need to know. So look at this. It says here upstream, and the second term says downstream. So it's important for you to look at that, because then anything that is upstream, meaning is that you are as a business, anything upstream is going back towards your suppliers and your vendors and providers that provide materials to you, that provide certain service to you so that you can then do what you want to do, right? So that is upstream. Downstream is, of course, from your organization, when you're measuring it, is going towards your customers. That's where it's being referred to as a downstream. Yeah. So it uses the word stream because for a supply chain, as we saw earlier, there is an end-to-end flow in terms of the either the goods or services from the raw materials aspect of it all the way down to the end users. Yeah. So in terms of the stream, for you to identify, it is important so that you can differentiate in terms of what can be done. So when it comes to the definition aspect of it, of course, ideas behind here is to look at how you can implement and optimize the functions, how you can connect all these entities together. Prior to this, it may be very disconnected in terms of all from your materials, from your supplier, all the way down to you talking to some of your retailers and customers. So now the only thing is that you want this system to be able to incorporate everyone together. And obviously that will then involve organization, how does certain procedures take place, different people that are involved, right? Different parties which are involved, and it will involve activities such as purchasing, delivery, packaging, checking, warehousing, inventory, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So when it comes to procurement, in terms of outsourcing, you saw earlier sourcing, purchasing, enabling technologies can be in terms of documentation and tracking. So as of today, this is actually very, very important, right? Every business, every single organization require at some point of time to source and to purchase things from other companies as well, right? Talk about us as a university. There's a lot of goods that we have that are all fully outsourced, right? Looking at the furniture, looking at the facilities that we provide, a lot of it must be sourced and must be purchased externally. So all this will then be supported by technology to enable proper tracking and proper documentation to be in place. So as shown here, of course, there's quite a huge difference when you are when you're procuring or outsourcing traditionally, right, which is very manual, and in comparison to what e-procurement is available today. So you notice, of course, it says here, you travel to queue up to buy the bidding documents. Many documents will need to be printed out. You need to travel, you need to submit these bidding documents and so on and so forth. But now with e-procurement, it's much more easier. Yeah. If an organization is providing, is sourcing for a certain service, if you are looking for that, you can easily just buy and submit documents online and everything can be digitally processed. So CRM, which then goes into customer relationship management. More and more organizations are very, very concerned with this now. Yeah. And what do I mean by that is they are very concerned in terms of, in inverted commas, taking care of their customers, right? Really caring for their customers. And not all organizations, even though most organizations talk about this, but not all organizations are doing this just as well. Yeah. As shown here, it says include strategies and processes for acquiring, and not just acquiring, not just for finding new customers, but more importantly is to retain current customers as well, right? To ensure, to somehow ensure loyalty that the customers continue to basically provide you. And therefore, when you do that, you are able to create superior value for both the company and the customers, right? So CRM is a very well-known technology that talks about how it can help you to basically strategize. How can you acquire new customers? How can you retain your current customers? How do you build this long-term relationship between the company and the customers itself? Yeah. So all this is actually quite important to then look into. So as part of the whole process, you must be able to look into all these different aspects here. First and foremost, you must have a proper customer database. Yeah, you must maintain a proper customer database because it shows that you know your customer well. What other details in relation to your customer do you have? Utilizing a proper CRM software, right? Of course, utilizing a software that helps you monitor. Coming up with a relationship history. So if you notice here is that what you are trying to do is that you are trying to monitor to see what are the changes in terms of the relationship between your company as well as the customers itself. Using analytics, right? Identifying trends, identifying patterns, and based from the analytics that you have found, you will then be able to personalize marketing further. It's much more better that you get advertisements that you want to see and look at, right? I think we all agree in relation to that. So that's why what you will achieve by doing this is that you look at these two areas here is customer retention, right? Which talks about you retaining your customers as much as you can. More importantly is by measuring it against customer satisfaction, whether your customers are satisfied or not, that definitely makes a huge difference, right? So with me saying all that, can you name a company that has a good customer relationship? Can you try identifying companies that you have encountered, that you have dealt with, that you feel that they have very, very good customer relations? Yeah, they either know you very well, they help you out whenever you need help, and so on and so forth. All right. So there's a few things that's being highlighted here. For example, they do personalize a lot of their services. They smile while they talk. They give proper training. They listen to the clients very well. They calmly handle angry clients. They are very apologetic. They understand what the problem is. So there's a lot of different aspects that you can incorporate in order to do so. But organizations can only do this. Yeah, they can only do this if they have enough information about you. Otherwise, whatever they do may not be accurate enough in order to make you happy and to make customers satisfied. Yeah. So Uzma, off the top, right, very first answer is to say Apple. So Uzma, why do you say Apple? What's so good about their customer relationship?
Well, one time my mom broke the screen of her iPad, and when she emailed them, she got a response in within, I think, was it 30 minutes, if I remember correctly. And they helped her in such a way that they gave her the location of the Apple store that was nearest to her, and they provided her with the steps of how to actually acquire a new screen. And at that time, she was alone, and I was here in Malaysia. I'm here in Malaysia, and at that time, she was alone, so she needed extra help in that way.
Okay. All right. Interestingly, so that is one interaction that Uzma's mom has had with Apple. Kai Fong is very straightforward to say don't have. OMG. Are all the businesses that bad? Yuan Ming is saying Metaverse. Have you already used Metaverse for you to say that they have a good customer relationship? Yuan Ming, what do you mean?
Yeah, like Facebook inside they have good relationship with customer.
Is it? I thought they have quite bad relationship with customers. No.
Because they just like promotion like the device, and then can I say I think it's good. I don't know.
Okay, all right. I think it's too early to mention about Metaverse to see whether they really have a good customer relationship or not. Thank you, Yan Ming. Johnson says Grab. Oh, interesting. Grab has a good customer relation. What was your experience, Johnson?
Hello, sir.
Hi.
So many times when I order food from Grab, many times some food are missing or some drinks are missing. Yeah, then I immediately contact the Grab. Then they check. Then they will immediately refund the cash to me. Yeah.
Oh wow! They refund the full cash to you,
Not fully, partially. Partially.
Oh, I see. Because of the missing item lah.
Yeah.
I see. All right. So you looks like you have been quite happy to have to receive missing items.
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Johnson. Excel is saying insurance company. I think I definitely agree. Yeah, when it comes to insurance companies, they do have a good customer relationship. Jesse mentioned Grab as well. Jesse, what was your experience with Grab?
I always get refund for like the food that I didn't manage to receive.
I see. Same experience with Johnson, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Jesse. Seng Fong says Apple has a really good brand loyalty. Agreed. But I don't know. I think nowadays it's probably a bit different. And to be honest, this is coming from someone who used iPhone 3, iPhone 4. I think iPhone 5, if I recall it. And then I moved away. I totally moved away from all Apple products for my own reasons. Yeah. Interestingly, after two of you said Grab, Samuel comes in and said definitely not Grab. Samuel, what happened?
Sir, if you use it frequently, you do realize that Grab has an unreasonable prices for their Grab car, especially when it's in high demand. They technically do not care about you. They just put as high as they want. Like, for example, at key timing, the prices can go up to double the price or more than that, and that is a real problem, especially for people that are tight in finance.
Very true. Agreed. Thank you, Samuel. I think that has been
for example, my ride that is usually 5 to 6 ringgit from like somewhere like 5-minute drive to 10-minute drive can become more than 10 ringgit, like 14 ringgit or something.
Oh wow! I guess there should be an extent on how much this surge of the prices that could be, but I guess doubling or tripling doesn't really make sense. So thank you, Samuel. Cheng Hao is saying Google. Interestingly. Xiao Xuan also highlighted another insurance company. I think we all know why insurance companies have very good customer relations. Yeah. It's something that they rely on in terms of their revenue as well. Alam as well says Apple. Bakar, you said OnePlus. Why OnePlus? Yeah. Okay, looks like Bakar is missing. Dinesh says IKEA. Fatih says H&M and Google. Apple comes in again. Ibrahim says, oh, Asus. Interesting. Alvis mentioned Grab again. And interestingly, everyone I've been asking about Grab is basically saying, yeah, so if I have missing items, they're going to refund me. Yay. Banks in general, because you put money with them. Oh, I think I will not necessarily agree with Hassan. My bank, for example, probably I've been with the same bank for almost 20 years now. I don't feel that they have a very good customer relationship with me, to be honest, overall, I guess. But again, it can be a personal preference in relation to that. ZN says, I can't think of any, not everything is perfect, but I will say Tesla. Sada, you have a Tesla. I doubt it, right? Hong Jie says, not sure. SpaceX, it doesn't exist. Wow, Shami. And Renjo comes in and says Grab again. Interestingly, a lot compared to Samuel's experience of the surcharge, which I totally agree. Yeah, I've seen those issues before, and it has been discussed about before. But I guess there's a lot of you who also has very good relationship, or rather has very good experience with them. Samuel says Grab needs competitor, but all the drivers only know Grab, so competitors no chance. Well, to be fair, they are the ones which are available. It's just a matter of whether, as a customer, do you use them or not as well. Yeah. It's what do you call it? It's a chicken and egg situation. Yeah. You want to start utilizing a different platform other than Grab. One of the main issues you face is what? There's not enough drivers there. You can't easily get drivers, and that is a problem to you as a consumer as well. Yeah, you go back to Grab, then yes, there's a lot of drivers, but then you have to pay a lot for it. So again, it becomes a situation where it is quite tricky to handle. Yeah. So I think we can all agree that technology overall influences businesses in many different ways. Yeah. Of course, in this case, provided that technology is supposed to be meant for productivity, is supposed to be meant for something that makes our life easier, either for a business or even for our users overall. Yeah. All right, so before we go into the last few parts of it, under business technology implications, let's just take a quick break and we will come back in 10 minutes, yeah? See all of you in 10. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Can you please raise your hand if you can hear me? You guys are going on and on with Tesla. Huh? So many supporters here. I don't get it. I don't get it why Wei Huan said, luckily Malaysia don't introduce Tesla. What do you mean? And then Yuan Meng said, Malaysia still use fuel. I think you'll be surprised on how many electric charging stations are there already in Malaysia. But anyway. All right, I will leave it as it is. Thank you. You can lower your hands for those of you who have raised. We shall continue, yeah? So with business technology implications, there's a lot of changes, or rather I will use the word disruptions, that has to be incorporated, yeah? So as you can see in terms of e-workforce, so there's a lot of employment, and this one is also related to procurement and outsourcing earlier, yeah? If you notice, more and more organizations are outsourcing their, either in the aspects of IT solutions, technological solutions to other companies as well, right? More and more organizations are doing so, and it's becoming very, very common. Yeah. So on the employment aspect of it, obviously technology do make work supposedly easier and faster, right? And it saves time. It creates new types of jobs as well, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of you Googling and just identifying jobs that didn't even exist a few years ago. But evidently, in relation to that, you would have noticed some aspects which are also different, and technology and businesses must be able to keep up with. One aspect of it is, of course, talking about a digital workflow. Yeah. So a lot of this, a lot of organizations has incorporated and tried to digitally transform themselves so that all of their information, a lot of their business processes are all electronically available, right? Obviously, by digitalizing the business, there is less people involved. And of course, a lot of this can now be saved electronically. It can be published electronically as well. A lot of this information can be shared with different parties, from your suppliers and vendors, and right down to even your own customers and consumers as well. Yeah. You guys are still going on at it. Oh my God. So and so on, and okay, all right. Nothing there for me to really highlight. I shall move on. Yeah. There are even more and more technology centers that has existed, right? That has been created to either support a lot of these technological advances, as well as a lot of these technology centers are also to help businesses to basically do better, to also assist them in doing better as well, right? We do not need to go far to find an example of technological centers. Where our university is located now in as well is Technology Park Malaysia. And as you can see, Technology Park Malaysia also has their own innovation incubation center. So what it does overall is to provide a lot of this support towards businesses. So as highlighted down here, as you can see, to provide comprehensive and integrated hand-holding programs. So it's being referred as an incubator because then it is where you are able to then digitally transform your business in order to incorporate a lot of the solutions, technological solutions available. What does it include? It includes business and technical skills enhancement, access to funding, technology commercialization, market access, and even intellectual property, right? So if you have the right solutions, these centers can also help you to commercialize your technology and your solution to other businesses that requires it. Yeah. So a lot of these can be made readily available. Another one is, I'm not sure if some of you have noticed as well, there is an area in Technology Park which is now referred to as Area 57. Yeah. So one of the main projects that they have been looking into is drones. So that is one of the areas to see how more and more companies can incorporate drones, and to look into how that can be a viable technological solution to the company as well. Right? They cover many different areas, as you can see, from operators to developers to manufacturers, even looking into aspects of maintenance and repair service as well, right? A lot of organizations are considering it. Of course, when it comes to looking at the government regulations and government agencies to be involved, The good thing about Technology Park being involved is that they are also parked under the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. Yeah, so it is something that they can easily gain access to as well, right? The university, especially for engineering students, have been looking at a lot of students to be involved with drone technology. For those of you who are interested, we have our own, of course, IoT center as well, which is located in the same area where the cybersecurity talent zone is. So that is where a lot of the research is going on in terms of drone usage and depending for what purposes as well. Yeah, and as far as I'm aware of, we are looking at working very closely together with Technology Park in order to spearhead some efforts overall. So the new jobs aspect of it, there's a lot of different roles which are available, yeah, and there's a lot of different aspects of it which are available. This is as highlighted here, 10 jobs that didn't exist 10 years ago. Again, this post it might be a bit more older, but I think it's still relevant, right? iOS developer, Android developers, those are valid positions as well. As you can see here, even things like Zumba instructor, social media intern, data scientist, big data architect, UI or UX designer, even some not so technology related ones. As you can see, there's a Beachbody coach, cloud services specialist, digital marketing specialist. The social media one is very, very evident. Yeah, most organizations today will have at least a team that looks into social media alone. Yeah, so those are aspects that you can see how businesses have definitely changed across the years in order to incorporate technology into it. So on top of just talking about businesses which are currently available trying to go online, as we will see, there's a lot of virtual businesses being available today as well. Yeah, and these are all newer businesses. These are all mostly startups as well, which has gone into fully functioning and operating virtually on the other hand. Yeah, so a lot of these are involved in relation to technological skills. Yeah, so it can be you just learning programming online, you just learning about web development, you learning about graphic design online. So a lot of these virtual businesses are definitely popping up as we go as well. Yeah. I just wanted to share this with you. So if you notice, this is what we call like a VC here in Malaysia, which is a venture capitalist, and Cradle is one of them, right? They do not only limit it to organization and businesses. You can be an individual as well who is just looking at starting off and kicking off in terms of an idea and coming up with a certain business, right? And what they do is a lot of it is they actually provide funding. And on top of the funding, they also provide coaching as well. Yeah. So if you notice here, they have different types of program. There's a coach and grow program. There's an angel tax incentive whereby they looking for investors, right? The term that is always being used by technopreneurs is angel investors. These are individuals who just want to invest into something because they see the prospect and the opportunities which are there. I'm quite sure a lot of you have seen Shark Tank or some of those shows that are in relation to Shark Tanks, right? So if you notice, the people who are evaluating those ideas of businesses, those are what you call angel investors, all right? So these are available everywhere. Yeah, we're not only talking about in the context of Malaysia, but there can be a lot of other investments going into virtual businesses as well. So another one is Startup Malaysia. Yeah, so they are quite popular because they have been gathering a lot of different companies together to then provide these services to startups, right? And a lot of those aspects are being covered from end to end again. Yeah, from the beginning when you require an investor to come into the picture, all the way until the end, until you start commercializing your product and your solutions as well. All right. So when they cover those many different areas, that's why the interest is there to then join them and for them to then bring you through the whole journey in terms of launching your product and going it and taking it into growth as well. So we highlighted this term earlier when it comes to e-commerce, right? So the main activity of e-commerce is buying and selling goods and services. But as I highlighted earlier, it's important to incorporate the word internet into it as well, because that's where the platforms are highly being used. I won't spend too much time here because then these are very common to be known to everyone, from B2C to B2B to C2C and P2P as well, right? Business to customer, or consumer. Amazon is very popular for that. We noticed that on Shopee and Lazada as well. B2B, right? So B2B, there's a lot of different marketplaces. Facebook Marketplace is one of them where businesses can actually promote to other businesses instead. For example, if you're actually promoting some materials that you have that you like to reach out to companies to then buy it, you can do so as well. C2C, I will easily go back to even Lazada and Shopee and as well as Facebook Marketplace, because then they do allow consumers to sell to each other, right? The other example, of course, is eBay that allows everyone to sell directly to other consumers. In terms of C2C, I think there's a lot of changes, especially with the existence of social media today. Yeah, you are easily able to then just promote it to each other, being consumers yourself as well. Peer-to-peer, of course, there's many different services currently available. The one that's highlighted here is in the US. It's not as popular now already, but the whole idea is that you can actually share some services with each other. You can actually share in terms of what you're able to do. These are what I like to call is more of like freelance markets. Yeah, there's a lot of these freelance markets out there that allows you to promote your services to each other. Mobile commerce, of course, the focus here is in terms of providing your services or goods through mobile platforms instead, which will again include social media platforms. So e-tail, on the other hand, of course, is then highlighting about electronic retail. But I do want to make a point here in terms of these are basically not businesses who are providing their own products, but they are merely an intermediary. Yeah. Business that sells the products over the internet. Any company can go online to sell any product. A multi-channel retailer uses several means to sell the products instead. Yeah. So if you notice, a lot of these companies they can come from different nature of a business. So some are fully brick and mortar, which means they were fully offline, right? And now if you notice, they are going online as well. The reason e-tailing service that I've been looking into and I got more interest in, because most of us are staying at home and we are shopping for a lot of groceries, is for me to go online and look for fresh products. Yeah, like this can be fresh products like your meats, right? Your chicken and beef and so on and so forth, and even right down to things like seafood, like frozen stuff. So you will notice that a lot of these stores, which were very brick and mortar, they were handling their businesses offline mainly, has now even gone online and to provide their businesses through the internet. And now they're called click and mortar, right? They still have a physical business running, but on top of that, they do have a lot of customers which are purchasing through them through online as well. So when you put all of this into perspective, bricks and mortar, clicks and mortar, through retailing, right? A lot of clicks and mortar are also getting into e-tailing as well, which utilizes fully in terms of the internet to then gain more customers and to widen their target markets as well. Yeah. I think fresh goods organizations were, especially in Malaysia, were highly being affected in the last 1 year or so. A quick example is, I'm not sure who I asked in class and I found out that you're from Cameron Highlands. Who was it again? Was it Kai Feng? I'm not sure if I remember it correctly. And why do I highlight Cameron Highlands? Because we have a lot of farms there, right? Both it can be fruits and vegetable farms as well. And you will notice a lot of them are now click and mortar. Right, these farms are selling directly to consumers and selling directly to customers out there as well. All right, so e-tailing is definitely gaining a lot of leverage due to how much we are all at home now, how much traveling is restricted to a certain extent. It may not be officially restricted, but we would like to restrict our own movements as well. And therefore, a lot of these are being provided. Yeah. So more of these organizations are basically just putting catalogs on the internet, allowing everyone to browse through what their products are. Convenience is there. Choice is also there. It makes it easier for comparison. E-tail is also a disadvantage, of course, whereby you see overspending happening. There are additional charges, which include things like shipping. You will need to wait for your product, right? With online shopping, as we are all aware of. Relying on observation, not being able to see products directly. This is a major one. For example, would you buy an item online if you notice that there are 0 reviews, right? And when you come and think about it, all products started with 0 reviews. But until you see a significant number of reviews there, it may not be one of your first choices to purchase from or even to buy from. Yeah. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of platforms. I suddenly can't remember them. Is it called iPrice? I think it's not iPrice. I can't remember now. If someone can do a search on this and you can share with the class, I would appreciate it a lot. If you are looking for iPrice is one of them, where what they do is that they are comparing prices across the platforms. So you notice they don't only stop at Lazada or Shopee. They even compare prices across, as long as the organization has an online presence and they have an online purchasing platform, they are able to do a quick comparison in terms of the products that you have. There are currently a lot of platforms as such, because then if you notice, otherwise you as a user, you will need to do it on your own, right? You have to open Lazada, open Shopee, look for the products there, and then do your own comparison and to find out which one is the better option to go ahead with, right? So even providing a platform as such allows you to then start your own business as well, right? So this platform, for example, they make a comparison across. They provide to you in terms of a comparison to show you what the prices are across different platforms. As you can see, is here. Compare prices of what iPhone 13 is like across 3 different stores, what 13 Pro Max is like across 2 stores, and it helps you to make a better decision. Obviously, in return, when it comes to advertising, when it comes to a lot of those business models, these are the platforms that rely mostly on those. Yeah. So e-ticketing as well, I think on top of just looking at e-ticketing in terms of platforms like this, like in Malaysia, Ticketcharge is quite popular. Yeah. On top of that, you will notice platforms as such, which then provides you not just to paid events like concerts and so on and so forth, but you also see them providing into what I would like to call, what is the word again? Indie events, right? Individual events, whereby it's not necessarily just promoting something which is very popular. It can be promoting indie type related of events. It can be music related or art related. They even promote events around you, and you can easily purchase a ticket through them, right? Find certain event. You can monitor your tickets, the ones that you have gone into. You can easily find free events around. So as an e-ticketing service, they do provide that to customers as well. Of course, for the paid ones, then what PTix does is that they will take a cut from it, which is, I think, is fair enough. It's just that I think the last time when I got a group of students to organize an event and they wanted to use PTix as a e-ticketing platform, they found out that the cut was actually quite high, right? I think they easily take about, if I'm not mistaken, about 10% from your ticket pricing, which is quite evident. Yeah. So if you do price a ticket at 50 ringgit, they are already taking 5 ringgit off. So that can be quite of an amount there. So Ticketcharge is the other one, which is a bit more popular here in Malaysia. Oh, I didn't know they are coming here. Interestingly, Jay Chow is coming. I think Khalil was here last year. So there's a lot of different events that happens. And again, their business is simple. E-ticketing business is whereby they take a cut off of it. They can easily just work together with the organizers and find out whether these the charges that they have for tickets, right? Would it go into the customers' tickets instead, or it is something that the organizer would like to choose to pay for instead? Yeah. Of course, they were highly being affected due to the pandemic. I think now slowly there are certain events that are happening, but I'm not sure how much of an SOP is being placed into it. Maybe the tickets are limited and so on and so forth, but e-ticketing platforms are definitely something which are relatively quite popular as well. All right. So overall, when you look at all of this, I think businesses require to look at technology accordingly. Yeah. And more importantly is to evaluate what is the purpose of adopting technology for the business to begin with. So from this infographic here, you will notice is that it depends on what you're looking for. It depends on, in terms of the business, whether your whole idea here is, does it help you to save money, to save time, to solve your problem? Are you looking into having remote access? That's why technology is required for your business. Are you looking at being a differentiator because you're trying to top your competitors? Are you looking into aspects of security, right? Looking to increase productivity? Are you looking into collaboration? So there's a lot of different aspects that businesses must first identify in order for them to strategize overall as well. Yeah. Samuel just mentioned that's a good recommendation, sir. What is a good recommendation? Yeah. I think you're talking about iPrice earlier, is it? So, but iPrice is just one of the platforms. Yeah, there's a lot of other platforms that allows you to compare pricing across anyway. And I think it depends on how accurate can they be. I forgot what's the platform's name, but it even goes right down to comparing. Oh wait, there's no more Tesco around. Comparing Justco. Wait, I think it's Giant. What are the platforms again? Let's just put Tesco now. No, it's not iMoney. I can't remember what is. It's not Compare Hero as well. When I find it, I'll share with everyone, right? The one I showed you earlier in terms of iPrice, maybe it's down here. Nope. I forgot what's the platform called, but it will go right down to like, I was even looking, the reason this came up is because I was even comparing grocery items that I used to buy from home. Yeah, like just buying Milo or just buying milk and just buying day-to-day grocery items. And this platform will actually give you a live pricing to let you know how much is Tesco selling it at, how much is Giant selling it at, how much is Aeon selling it at, and that quick comparison allows you to decide, all right, so I think I'm going to go shopping at Jaya Grocer or Giant or Aeon and so on and so forth. Yeah, so a lot of the decisions can be made easier due to platforms as such and businesses as such. All right, so we are done with business and technology. Because I did not meet the business and finance group earlier this week on Tuesday, right? I am going to meet the CT students tomorrow in the evening anyway. I've decided that I'm going to do a quick weekly task briefing for this class instead so that I can cover everyone. Yeah. So this week, I know all of you are working on the effects. I hope all of you are on track. I did not notice much discussions going on except for a few groups who has conducted their meetings to finalize on some of these areas. Yeah. There were a few questions that came back to me from several groups to identify, to say that since I did not mention how many, is there a minimum number of areas that technology has an effect on, right? So my overall answer is that you need to, I would suggest that you highlight at least 3 areas. Yeah, there are, don't forget the word etc. here, right? So you can actually identify other area. Can you look into technology's effect on business as we highlighted today? Yeah, of course, that's the first point here, which is technology's effect on commerce. So how many are there? I will be looking forward to at least 3. Yeah. And maybe up to 5 different areas if you want to try looking into, but please do not go more than that, because then it will be a very lengthy document. I know if you want to really do on all 8 that you see here, you can even cover all 8, but it's really not necessary. Yeah, about 3, at least 3, and I think a maximum of 5 that you go into in terms of identifying different areas of what effects your technology has, but don't go more than that. Because even with 3, you're already covering both positive and negative effect of each of those 3. Yeah, all right. And don't forget, of course, you also have to find out the latest discovery. So this is another task as well. So next one, what you're doing is that this is a lecture that we will only cover next week on Thursday. But I think as of now, you will already be able to start your research into it as well. Well, I guess no one's really going to do this week because everyone is still working on the effects of technology. But this is your next weekly task. So ethical issues in your technology. I'm very sure everyone will be able to find some aspect of ethical issues with the technology, because when we talk about ethical issues, it covers a very wide area. So identify where do ethics apply in your technology, right? So when you're thinking about this, identify it. It can come from your technology. It can also come from your company. So don't forget that, yeah? So there are different areas of ethics that can be applied. Some examples are given here in 1B, right? Are there environmental ethics? Are there bioethics? Do they look at human rights as well? Do they even look at animal rights? So before this, I do have some students who were identifying a technological company that goes into cosmetics. Yeah, and one thing that is very known for cosmetics related company or even makeup and things like that is that they do a lot of testing on animals, right? So this is definitely an ethical issue in relation to those organizations. Are there business ethics? Are there legal implications? Some can be some can be nationally focused. Certain countries would apply. So are there copyright laws? Are there intellectual property laws that are in place as well? Yeah. So evaluate across to see if any of this apply in your technology. So again, you might find out that there are not very significant areas of ethics that apply in your technology. You are allowed to skip this part. Yeah, so this is not compulsory. But again, I would probably say a lot of you will be able to apply some form of ethics in relation to your technology mainly. Yeah, if the thing, since all of you were discussing about it so much earlier, Tesla comes to mind. So in terms of Tesla, what area, how do ethics apply in their technology? So environmental ethics is definitely in relation to Tesla. Yeah, why? Because then there's a lot of concern about batteries that are being created by Tesla, batteries that powers the cars, right? And after a certain number of years, your battery will be deemed useless and you have to change the whole battery of your car. So what happens to that? What is their plan in terms of recycling those batteries and what are they going to do to it? So there are some aspects of ethics in relation to the environment there. Yeah, so all of you will somehow find a way to relate to it. Again, don't decide to use all of them because they may not apply. Only choose the ones which are significant. This other part, I'm very sure almost all of you can go into, which is ethical threats. Talking about hacking, talking about privacy, piracy. Some of your technologies are affected by that as well. Talking about security threats as well. Yeah, and not to forget, there can also be cultural sensitivity that goes into the picture as well, right? A lot of technological companies today can also be affected by cultural sensitivity, right? Because then you must look into the technology in the context of a certain country and so on and so forth as well. Yeah, and there's a lot of these companies that must take into consideration these areas. CSR, on the other hand, yeah. Before I continue, Muhammad Bakar asked, do we talk about all 5 ethical threats? Can I ask someone to reply to Bakar? Do you think that you need to cover all 5? I think my answer has been the same every single week. Sardar is saying we have to highlight the unethical parts or both ethical and unethical parts of the company. Both, right? Because the question is simple. It says, where do ethics apply in your technology? So if there are certain parts that your company follows those ethics, talk about it. If there are some parts your company is violating certain ethics, they don't really follow those ethics, you can talk about those as well. So the answer is basically both. So Asfar is saying anything that applies. Yeah, so that's my response to you as well, Muhammad. Bakar, you need to find the one that applies to you. You do not need to cover all 5. Yeah, all right. As usual, it is that. Choose to speak about the ones that are more significant. But item D, I would appreciate and I would like to ensure that everyone does this. This applies to everyone. Your company, especially as a technological company, you will definitely find out that they have some CSR activities. They have definitely done some contribution back to the society. Yeah. So find out and highlight some main projects that your company have. All right. Highlight some of those. So for example, if I just talk about Google CSR. Yeah. As quick as that, as I just highlighted and did a quick Google search here, you will notice that Google has a lot of CSR efforts. Yeah, they have a lot of corporate social responsibility. They invest a lot into contributing back to the society and so on and so forth. Okay. So Sardar came back into the picture by asking in the chat, we have to talk about those who are related to the technology and the chosen company. Yep, whichever that applies. Yeah, for example, the one that I'm briefing you about now, when it comes to CSR, you can't talk about this in relation to the technology particularly, but you can talk about this in relation to the company because only the company does CSR. The company has specific activities to contribute back to the society. So find some main projects here. There can be 1 or 2 or even up to 3 different efforts that is being done by the company. And I want you to highlight their CSR activities. What do they do? Why do you think they are investing so much into it? Yeah. A simple example of a CSR activity can be campaigns that they do, social awareness campaigns. It can also be providing scholarships. Yeah. For those who needs it. a lot of companies look into that, and they consider that their CSR activity back to the society as well. Yeah. Now, item number 1, that's basically covering all those 4 areas there. As I highlighted again, some of these areas may or may not be relevant to you, so you will need to decide on which one you want to go into. Highlight the ones which are significant. Number 2 is a discussion overall. I want you to see whether after you do a research about all of the items in number 1, I want you to discuss about and analyze and provide your opinion on whether you see all these ethical aspects that you have researched about earlier. How important are they to the organization and the technology, right? How relevant are they? What if you say it is not really relevant, then talk about why. If it's very relevant, you need to speak about why as well, right? And one of the ways for you to do it is to relate and indicate how it matters to the technology for sustainability and also continuation of improvement. A lot of organizations take ethics into consideration because they know that in the future, this is something customers will look at. In the future, this is something that organizations, their consumers will focus on. To be honest, when there are surveys being done, a lot of consumers always say that if they know that some companies contribute back more to the society, they will tend to buy their products. They will tend to support their products more. And I think that definitely makes a lot of sense on why companies want to take into consideration certain ethical values. Okay. Number 2 and number 3 is very close to each other, but it is a comment and your opinion as a group. I want you to then see whether with all these ethical values, does it really help to draw a fine line between what is good and what is bad for mankind, right? So some of the technology you will notice, like for example, the group that is doing on drone technology, yeah? Does it really help to then know that, so is drone contributing more for the good of mankind, or is it contributing more for the worse of mankind? For example, more and more people have access to drones, yeah? But you realize drones can easily be used to basically violate people's privacy. Your drones can basically fly around. You can start spying on people. But on the other hand, of course, you're also looking at drones for its actual purposes. Point number 3 is for you to evaluate overall. Do you feel that your technology, yeah, is actually more for the good or more for the worse of mankind? Where do you think it leans towards? Look at the internet, yeah. As much as the internet is a lot for the good of mankind, but it has brought out a lot of the worst of mankind as well. There's more and more cybercrime and cyber fraud today as we know of it. Yeah, there's more and more hate crimes that are happening because of the internet and social media, for example. Now, point number 3 is meant for a discussion for you as a group. All right. So Sardar is back again. For someone who is sick, you seem to have a lot of questions. We have to talk about the ethical view of companies by business point or humanitarian point of view. I don't see the difference there because it can be either one or it can be both, Sardar. Yeah. So depending on the area of ethics that you're discussing about, it can come from the business point of view on why you do so. It can also come from the humanitarian point of view as well. My example earlier to say that maybe you find out that your company is providing a lot of scholarships to those who need it. Yeah, you can look at both points of view. I think both will be relevant as well. From a business point of view, you realize that you are really helping people, right? You are really helping to support people who requires it and help to build the society. From a humanitarian point of view, you realize as well that this is something that will improve society overall as well. Yeah, it's not just for the benefit of the company, but you notice people can also improve and do better in life. So I think incorporate both is not an issue as well. All right. I'm done with the briefing for week 9. Any questions? Oh, okay. I just took meds. Okay. All right. Your meds work very, very quickly and immediately by the looks of it. Second last topic, yeah? Second last topic. Ethics is your second last because after that, we only got one more task to do, and that is basically the future of technology. Then you are pretty much done. All right, Saad says, we have to include all of the points. Which point of it is that? For 3A, we have to include all of the points. Can someone please reply to Saad? whether you have to include all of the points? I think Asfar is going to come in and copy paste his statement again. Can someone please reply to Saad? Thank you, Muhammad Bakar. Only those that are applicable. Exactly. Yeah. Or to be honest, 3A is just an example. I won't be surprised that all of the ones here does not apply to you, to be honest. Yeah. But I hope you understand the difference between point number 2 and point number 3. Point number 2 is to evaluate whether all of these ethical aspects that you have highlighted above, yeah, all of it that you have found, how important is it for the company and the technology? Yeah, why do you think it's important? Or maybe you can talk about why do you think currently what the company is doing is not very important? You can highlight either one. Yeah, all right. Point number 3 overall is for you to evaluate to then see whether your technology is really for the good of mankind or for the bad of mankind. I want you to evaluate both aspects. Yeah, which means you can then highlight to say that, oh, by the looks of it, actually our technology looks like it has brought along more negative aspects compared to positive aspects, right? It's your discussion and evaluation as a group. So please understand the difference between point number 2 and point number 3. You can only discuss about point number 2 and number 3 after you have done point number 1. All right, so please take note of that. Any more questions? Oh, before I show this, I'm not sure how many of you have noticed it. I will remind you next week again when I see you before your Chinese New Year break. I am moving the final class in week 12. Yeah, the last class, the last lecture class, tutorials are maintained on Tuesday and Fridays, but on the lecture class on Thursday, that is being moved. Yeah, lecture class on Thursday will be moved to a Monday. I just wanted to hear if there are any major issues. I've already checked all of your timetables. Monday is the day that I have a slot. Honestly, I've looked at all of your other days. Your either CT or BF or engineering is busy on those days, but Monday looks like all of you will be less busier, which is the week after your Chinese New Year break. Sada is saying on 7 February, yeah. So if you notice, I've already set the lecture class on that week. Instead of the Thursday on that week, oh, I didn't change this. Instead of the 10th of February, I am changing it to the 7th of February, which is on a Monday. Yeah, which is on a Monday. So if you notice, it's already written there, Monday, February 7th, the lecture will be from 2 to 4 p.m. So that week, I'm not seeing you on a Thursday, which is the final week of your semester, yeah, because I won't be available on Thursday. I have to go somewhere for training. I'm moving the class to a Monday at 2 p.m. and I know everyone is free. Only one of your groups have a class at 4:30 p.m. So we are still good because I'll be done even before 4. Because this is just a revision and exam briefing. Yeah. Your tutorials on Tuesday for BF and also an engineering as well as CT on Friday, that still maintains. All right, that doesn't change. So I'm informing everyone now so that you take note of it. I'll remind you again next week because the week after I'm not seeing you, and the week after that I'm seeing you on a Monday for your lecture. Yeah. Obviously, attendance is taken. I hope no one says that they don't remember. I have a task for all the team leaders. Yeah, I have a task for all the team leaders to ensure that every team member in your group, in your assignment group, is aware. Yeah, please make sure. Oh, I'm lagging. I hope you can still hear me. I'm not sure if I'm lagging or you are lagging, Saad. Please make sure, team leaders, please make sure every team member in your group is aware of the change for the last lecture in week 12. Yeah, I do not want anyone to come back to me to say that, sorry, sir, I'm not aware, I didn't know the class change. If any one of your team members say that, I'm going to go after the team leader. All right, I'm highlighting this very early now. This is easily about 3 weeks in advance, 2 weeks plus in advance. So please help me to remind your team members. Yeah. Sada says, I'm not lagging. I can hear fine. It's probably on your end, buddy. Okay, all right. Awesome. We are done here. Once you have taken your attendance, you can go. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good week ahead. And I'll see all of you next week. And yeah, next week is still all following your schedule. Yeah, I'm seeing some of you on Tuesday, everyone on Thursday, and some of you on Friday. So next week still maintain the same schedule. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Take care, everyone. I'm sure this is your last class of the day. Stay safe. Thank you for staying throughout the whole 2 hours, and I'll see all of you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye. So I see most of you have taken your attendance. Are you here? Ayame, Ibragimov, Jai, Pritisha, Singfong.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Hi. Who's this?
I'm Pritisha here.
What happened?
I couldn't sign my attendance. It's coming failed to update.
It's updated. If you notice on my end, it shows that it's updated already.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye.
Sir, can you help me to sign my attendance? I'm Singfong.
What happened?
I went to toilet just now.
I don't want to hear toilet for the rest of the semester. This is very boring to hear.
No,
Thank
this
you,
is my
Singfong.
first time.
I know it's your first time, but in the class there has been a number several times. So if you say everyone has a first time, I have to listen to going to toilet 77 times because there are 77 of you in class.
Yep,
anyway.
right. Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. No problem. Ibragimov, Jai, Ayame, are you there? No? Don't have? Okay, all right. So I'm ending the call now. Take care, guys. Bye. Oh, I was just about to end the meeting. Jai, what happened? Waiting for you to type takes very long, Jai. Can you just talk on your microphone? And your picture, Jai, is not even a proper profile picture. Can I just give you an absent for that reason? No. I hope you do change it. This is really unacceptable. You don't follow what I say and I need to follow what you say. So it's updated now, Jai. Done. Thank you. Take care, everyone. See you next week. Bye.